Welcome to another episode. In this episode, we will see Stroke of Insight. It is actually a book written by Jil Bolte Taylor, born in May 1959, and is an American neuroanatomist. She is an author, public speaker, and her training is in the postmortem investigation of human brain as it relates to schizophrenia and severe mental illness. This is not a complete description of what happened to her, but we will see only a portion of her experience at the time of stroke, which is akin or similar to an enlightened state. And this is not brought about by enlightening, but brought about by a physical condition, the stroke. And it would be better for you to read her book, or in YouTube, TEDx lectures and other lectures are available. And interview with Oprah Winfrey is also there. So that is important to go through that. It will be very useful for you. On December 10, 1996, Bolte Taylor was experiencing a stroke. The cause was bleeding from a vein in the left hemisphere of the brain. 3 weeks later, on December 27, 1996, she underwent a major brain surgery to remove the golf ball sized clot that was on the language centers in the left hemisphere of the brain. And she describes her experience at that time, and it is written in her book, as I told you. It was 7 a.m. on December 10, 1996. I awoke. I sluggishly awoke to the sharp pain piercing. I sluggishly awoke to a sharp pain piercing my brain directly behind my left eye. I closed the bedroom window blind to block the incoming stream of light stinging my eyes. I decided that exercise might get my blood flowing and perhaps help dissipate the pain. Within moments, I hopped onto my cardio glider, a full body exercise machine. Immediately, I felt a powerful and unusual sense of the dissociation roll over me. I felt so peculiar that I questioned my well-being. Even though my thoughts seemed lucid, my body felt irregular. As I watched my hands and arms rocking forward and back and forward and back in opposing synchrony with my torso, I felt strangely detached from my normal cognitive functions. It was as if the integrity of my mind and body connection had somehow become compromised. Feeling detached from normal reality, I seemed to be witnessing my activity as opposed to feeling like active participant performing the action. I felt as though I was observing myself in motion, as in the playback of a memory. My fingers, as they grasped onto the handrail, looked like primitive claws. My perception of these automatic body responses was no longer an exercise in intellectual conceptualization. Instead, I was momentarily private to a precise and experiential understanding of how hard the 50 trillion cells in my brain and body were working in perfect unison to maintain the flexibility and integrity of my physical form. Through the eyes of an avid enthusiast of magnificence of the human design, I witnessed with awe the autonomic functioning of my nervous system as it calculated and recalculated every joint angle. As the language centers in my body, left hemisphere grew increasingly silent, and I became detached from the memories of my life. I was comforted by an expanding sense of grace. In this void of higher cognition and details pertaining to my normal life, my consciousness soared into an all-knowingness, a being at one with the universe, if you will. in a compelling sort of way. It felt like the good road home, and I liked this. By this point, I had lost touch with much of the physical three dimensional reality that surrounded me. I sensed the composition of my being as a fluid rather than that of a solid. I no longer perceived myself as a whole object, separate from everything. Instead, I now blended in with the space and flow around me. So, with this, we will end this reference or a quote from her book. Here she describes how she felt at that time. Since her left hemisphere blood clot started coming on and has paralyzed the language centers, her total ego sense had gone. So she felt one with the universe. This is similar to an enlightened state but brought about by a stroke, physical condition. Please listen to her lectures. She became an orator after that. She gives the lectures. And she later on recovered completely and began to practice her profession. I think after 6 years of very hard work, that is recovering completely physically after the operation, which itself was a miracle, then going slowly like a child from the basics to recover back her language centers and memory. So further you can watch her videos in YouTube or read her book. That could help you. So stay with me with this we will end this episode. Stay with me for another episode. Thank you.